Oh, did the recording just start? Portfolio Builder Trade Alert webinar. We're now up 1,520% in 4 years, and that's outperforming the S&P 500 by 1,771%. We screened over 20 different digital asset treasury companies to pick the three best ones that hit different markets for what we think is a no-brainer play to end the year. And so we're going to make an argument with only a handful of slides. Like I was saying, we usually have 20, 30, 40 slides to build an argument. But this one's just a no-brainer. And so in this slide, we can see there's $9 trillion sitting in money market funds. And what we're looking at are rate cuts. So rate cuts push the yield on money markets down. So this is an awful lot of capital that's about to flow into stocks. And we believe that the bond market's going to still be under pressure because we can look at ISM rising. So I think inflation is going to be a little sticky here, keeping the bond market flat and really forcing everyone into to certain sets of plays. Many of these plays are really hitting high RSI. So if you've been playing NVIDIA or AI stocks, every day they just go up. Most are at the high. Even the boring one, Google, is near its high. So basically, the Fed is very concerned with employment. Employment data continues to fall, and this is forcing their hand in rate cuts. So that's really the main thing to be watching. I believe we're about to see a mini sell-off in gold and silver that rotates into Bitcoin. Um, Maybe even a little profit taking on companies like NVIDIA, but we'll see. They're just so strong. In this chart, we're trying to understand if we think we may have a recession on our hands. And again, we got ISM picking back up, and we have households richer than they've ever been in history. So if you look at the spread between household liabilities, household assets, we basically have this paradigm where we have employment weakening and inflation's kind of going flat, but yet the Fed's going to have to cut rates into the wealthiest people being the richest they've ever been in history. So this is a really good setup for stocks. And if we look at the dot plots, it looks like the Fed's been secretly retargeting their inflation levels to 2.8 or 3 instead of 2, which was always rumored for the last decade. But now we're starting to see it really play out. So basically, they're creating the environment for a dot-com like tech bubble. And I'm thinking we're about to see a big rotation into cryptocurrencies because gold's at an all-time high, and then again, all your tech stocks are basically at the high or very close. Other thing is that Trump has been replacing the Fed board with a bunch of dovish folks who want to cut rates. So it's almost certain we're going to have rate cuts at almost every FOMC meeting for the next year or two to get these interest rates down. Now here is the returns for October. So your average return for Bitcoin is 21.89%. And, just in the last few years, we've had a 28%, a 39% return. And again, we've never had conditions like this where you have corporations left and right going all in on crypto. You've got big banks building into DeFi. And now you have stable coins becoming one of the biggest purchasers of US debt. So everything's really aligning for a really nice Q4 for Bitcoin and related assets. Bitcoin is highly sensitive to the global M2, the money supply, which has been skyrocketing up. And you can make a case that Bitcoin should be heading to 170,000 by year's end. I've done forecasts on the plays we're giving out with it only hitting 150. So we'll see if some of these metrics I've outlined really play out. So here's the new allocation. As you know, we sold Tesla and BMNR for a really nice profit. And then we sat in cash for a few weeks, which played out perfectly. We basically hit the top on BMNR. Tesla did ride a little bit higher. But again, we were getting really nice entries into this entire portfolio. So if you log into the membership area, you can type in how much you have to invest. We're basically leaving about 23% of your portfolio in cash for any new exciting opportunities. And then we're buying the dip on MicroStrategy, BMNR, and then Hyped, which will cover what all of these are in more detail. We're heaviest weighted in MicroStrategy, and we're already seeing Bitcoin flirting with breaking above 120 here. And then we have the Ethereum DAT. I think that's just a really surefire play. They're the second largest treasury company in the world. And then we gave you a really high risk one with Hype. Many of you may not know what Hype is, but it's the fastest growing DeFi protocol. And it's could go on for hours with that, but that's my single favorite investment in general. And this is how you can get it in the stock market with a digital asset treasury company. Okay, so August, September were really nice returns. We had 14% and 27% total return. Uh, Hoping we can hit a triple digit return year to date this year with these plays and probably be selling sometime in December here. Now we would probably already be there if we didn't have the crazy tariff fiasco in February, March. So that gave us a little bit of pain, but we've made it back up and we're now at a 31.34% return year to date. Our safe growth portfolio has no changes, just keeps riding. We've got the Bitcoin ETF with IBIT. We've got the oil play, and then we have the Asian play with EDC or emerging markets. So we're using a little leverage on that one, and we do have a small treasury position. This portfolio has been just cranking along, beautiful returns, sitting on a 24.5% return for 2025 total return. And again, it's had a lot less volatility. So this one mostly just buys value plays that we think are going to have low volatility and a good long-term return. Okay, so we're all in cash today. Again, I looked at about 20 digital asset treasury companies and was considering some of the little guys out there. But what's worrisome is we do have a flood of companies copycatting MicroStrategy's business model. So at this point, with everything trading at a discount, we went for the best of the best. And I think they're going to pump first. And then if we want to add a little extra risk, we still have some cash on the sideline where we could play with some of the smaller, newer ones. For now, these are the three most solid bets for digital asset treasury companies by far, without question. Again, safe growth, just let it ride, no changes there. Our high risk portfolio, which was previously in cash, has now been allocated per $1,000, 1 share of MicroStrategy, 4 shares of BMNR, and 20 shares of HYPD, leaving $231 in cash. And again, a lot of people worry about the price. We're early. We're really early. Time is not on your side. I would just get filled at any price and let this ride. And we'll look at the charts and what's so special about each one as we go through the presentation here. Okay, so when you're evaluating digital asset treasury companies, you want to be basically watching the MNAV. The stock chart is nice, but really the signal to sell is if you go above 2.8. So you can see the cheapest one is the Ethereum-based one, BMNR. And the potential return on it was actually about the same as the Hyperliquid one, HYPD, despite me estimating Hype will greatly outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin. And that's because it has that cheaper MNAV, which is going to be just really critical. If we look at this, MicroStrategy holds $75 billion worth of Bitcoin and has market cap at 97 billion. Now, who knows what everybody thinks? At this point, it just doesn't matter. MicroStrategy has outperformed Bitcoin something like 10 to 1 and can get above a 3 NAV. So there's a lot of reasons for this. A lot of pension funds and corporations um, or sovereign funds aren't allowed to buy the ETFs. And also, it's just the mania of the crowd. These digital asset treasury companies logically don't make sense to trade way above their NAV. And so you get a lot of people who are too fundamental at looking at this that try to short it. And then this creates these short squeezes and really helps drive these prices up. So yeah, we did not pick the leveraged one for MicroStrategy. This is already going to potentially give you highly leveraged volatility to the upside. Now, a big uh, there's not a big difference in the NAV versus or the crypto holdings versus the market cap right now. So our downside is quite limited right here. And if we're going to go back to higher NAV multiples, the leverage is on the upside, but you don't have that much leverage on the downside. So that's why I really like these plays right now at this point in time as we head into Q4. Okay, MicroStrategy, Strategy Inc., I guess they changed their name, I forgot about that, is a Bitcoin digital asset treasury company. Here's their chart. And again, I think this is going dramatically higher for the next 3 months with very little dip. So I would not be waiting to pull the trigger on that. And now
Jason,
oh, go ahead.
just really quick, guys. I want to talk about MicroStrategy. Well, it's now Strategy Inc., as Jason was just pointing out. So I can't believe how many people I talk to, you guys, that are absolutely clueless. That Strategy Inc. or MSTR, right, as a ticker, actually has outperformed NVIDIA, and right now it's actually underperformed. But it's literally been MSTR and NVIDIA that literally fought for the most return period since 2020 of anything in the entire stock market. Okay. So yeah, so many people don't know that. And I think it's awesome, Jason, that you're kind of bringing this stuff to light. But I just wanted to also just touch on that really quick, guys. And again, as Jason was saying, Bitcoin is not at a new all-time high, right? It's pulled back. It's getting close. Nvidia is at a new all-time high. Every AI name is at a new all-time high, or right at it. Plus, guys, and Jason will cover this later in the presentation. So Q4 is the most bullish quarter for digital assets. Okay. And previously, we've never had all these digital asset treasury company, or DATs, as Jason's been saying, to go in there and buy up the supply. And then we have also, it's super easy for people to just go buy a digital asset treasury company or a DAT with their stock account. And as Jason was pointing out, the sovereign wealth funds and the global pension funds that can't still touch the digital asset ETFs can buy these, though, because it gets around the compliance stuff. So I just wanted to touch on that really quick, Jason, and it blows me away how many people are absolutely clueless to that.
Yep. Okay, so here's some math to hit a 177% return, no leverage. We got some questions. Yeah, I wouldn't buy the leverage ones. You don't need to. That's why we did big size. Rich is asking, everything's up from this morning. Yeah, time's not on your side with this one, so I would just literally get filled and not dollar cost average in.
Yeah,
Okay,
and it's a common question. Just really quick, Jason, I'm sorry, but so yeah, guys, price is irrelevant. At the end of the day, the ratios is what's the most critical to get correct. Okay. And I'll tell you guys, working in this business for a really long time now, the happiest clients we have just follow our trade alerts to the T. They're extremely happy. The only clients that I've ever met that don't make money don't follow the system. Okay, so please, whatever you do, just follow exactly what is on there. And again, we're not worried about price, guys. We're worried about the massive macro sides of the macro implications of everything that we have going for us right now. Okay, so just wanted to touch on that really quick and really drive the nail home on that.
And then William says, so it's Dean was the previous voice and Jason here speaking. Okay, so we're basically expecting a euphoria mania driven rally in the price of Bitcoin. And we believe that the NAV is going to hit 2.8. I've been conservative predicting Bitcoin will hit a $150,000 price, which is about 27% up from here. But what's remarkable is this could potentially lead to a 177% return on MicroStrategy. So possibly by Christmas, we could be looking at that return if the NAV hits 2.8 and Bitcoin goes to 150. And I do think it could go towards that 170 level. Now, Strategy Inc. is the King Kong of digital assets, the first, biggest, and baddest. And we're going the biggest on MicroStrategy in our high risk model for leverage Bitcoin upside. Again, they have 640,000 Bitcoin. Michael Saylor says he'll never sell his Bitcoin. He looks at it as digital real estate. So yeah, they are just the King Kong. And at the early stage of this move, we're looking at the safest bets right now. They are planning to raise $42 billion in the next 3 years. And they've been rolling out lots of different products to give you different flavors of what they have to offer. So they've got a lot of advantages way over what all the other digital asset companies have. Just in sheer size of the capital they can raise and then the selection of products. So people who invest in corporate bonds love this company, and that's primarily how they raise the majority of their capital. Top holders are Vanguard, Capital International, BlackRock. You've got massive sovereign funds out there who own massive amounts of it. And it's, again, been either first or second place for the highest returning stock against NVIDIA back and forth. And again, NVIDIA's at all-time highs every freaking day, whereas MicroStrategy is not. So, a lot of people play those two stocks back and forth. So there's a possibility that people are going to do a rotation into this once the momentum picks up. The second play is digital asset company buying Ethereum. So all the big banks are waking up and realizing they can replicate their business models from TradeFi into DeFi, and that the only network that can support that is Ethereum. So lots of big money pushing into that. Digital asset companies doing Ethereum have a lot of advantages that Bitcoin doesn't by making extra profits off the Ethereum in DeFi finance. Now, it's a lot of stuff to learn. I'm not going to cover that today. But I do think Ethereum will outrun Bitcoin dramatically in the next 12 months. As you can see, this has been going up consistently, but nowhere near the high. I think we sold around, what was it, 60, and now we're buying back at 50, 52.36 on this chart. It did pop up a little bit. I took that screenshot yesterday. We were going to do the alert yesterday, but we figured it'd be better to do it in the morning so everybody got in at the same time in case there wasn't enough time to react to the trade alert yesterday. Okay, same sort of expectation for the NAV to hit 2.8. We're going to assume that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin by 50%. So instead of what was it? I think we had a 27% return for Bitcoin. With this assumption, we're looking at a 41% return for Ethereum. And this would actually deliver a 287% return. And now, again, BMNR is basically at a 1 MNAV. So it's like buying an ETF at this point in time, but it has the potential to dramatically outperform So the risk to reward is just beautiful on this. Very low risk if Ethereum goes down. It's already basically trading at par. But if Ethereum starts to pump, we could very well see this skyrocket. And there's some very smart people behind this, like, uh, well, we'll get to that slide. As the Ethereum Treasury Titan, the number one Ethereum holder and second largest crypto treasury globally, we're going big on BMNR in our high risk model portfolio for leveraged Ethereum upside. Led by star chairman Tommy Lee, Fundstrat founder and Wall Street strategist, whose ETH macro supercycle vision has tripled the stock since 2025 appointment, driving the pivot to ETH treasury dominance and attracting top talent and investors. Now, for some reason, there's always massive shorts on Ethereum, and that's one reason why I believe those folks could get short squeezed here pretty quickly, and we may be underestimating the potential return on this one. It's the second biggest digital asset treasury worldwide and has 2% of the ETH supply. So they are trying to catch up to MicroStrategy. We'll see how they can do. Again, Michael Saylor's become a legend doing this and has most of the biggest players in the world already long-term holders. The Ethereum DAT has an edge over Bitcoin. It enables DeFi strategies. For simple one is just to stake it. You get a free 4 to 5% yield, but you can go way deeper than that. So smart contract automation that Bitcoin's digital gold can't match. And again, you can develop applications to replicate every product on TradeFi into DeFi powered by Ethereum. So the big ones will be, things like loans. They have impressive holders already, Kathy Woods and Peter Thiel. Now Peter Thiel, if you don't know him, has pretty much been one of the first investors of almost every single successful company in the tech space. And to be fair, he does invest in just about everything under the sun that looks attractive. But you can see he's a huge believer with a 9.1% stake in BitMine. Okay, this one probably most of you don't know about. Hyperion DeFi Inc. Is the first Hyperliquid digital asset treasury company. Now, Hyperliquid is somewhat hard to even describe. Here's your chart. You're super early on this one. I was talking to Dean. I asked him, do you think we actually moved the needle on the chart just with our followers? And it sure looks like we did. This is my single highest conviction trade is Hyperliquid. And we actually have a private equity company that goes way beyond what you would get owning this stock. If you want to learn more about that, call Dean. But for easy access immediately, this is your ticker. And again, it's got a very low market cap and huge room for growth. Okay, so this one actually ended up with slightly higher potential return than BMNR, and we're expecting it to have a 69% return and hit a 2.8 NAV to get a 290% return. Again, these are all low ball estimates for where we think Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hyperliquid can go to. Now, Hyperliquid is a fast, low-cost trading platform for crypto perpetual futures. It's raking in $110 million in monthly revenue from billions of dollars in perpetual trades. And it's using the profits to buy back and burn hype tokens. So if you've looked at the Apple chart, they really haven't had growth. But what they've done is take massive profits from a stable business and just buy back their own stock. And it's made it one of the best performing stocks in history. So Hyperliquid's copied that model. Bitcoin and Ethereum don't do that. So what we've got is a very small market cap product that's printing money. It's destroying its competition. And now it's actually going to give Ethereum a run for its money in some use cases because they've got their own smart contracts, and now people are developing applications on it, just like the early days of Ethereum. So with Ethereum, the two most well-known success cases were perhaps Uniswap and Aave, a lending platform and a spot trading crypto platform. So right now, people are recreating all the successes from Ethereum inside of Hyperliquid. But the difference is with Hyperliquid, you have access to trade every cryptocurrency that is popular through their very deep order books in the perpetual futures market. So this ecosystem is really hot. It's been ran by 11 people. There's no VCs. And I actually expect Hyperliquid to have a 10x return in the next 5 to 10 years, and to really give a lot of trouble to companies like Binance and Coinbase. But they've also been expanding to the stablecoin vertical. So Circle uh, business model is basically also a threat. And then again, they've developed their own replica of how Ethereum works. So it's also going to give Ethereum a run for its money. In a recent uh, conference, they asked some of the bigger players in the space who their competitors were. Um, and each company could label one major threat. When they got to Jeff, the CEO of Hyperliquid, he paused and then said, "Nobody. There's no one building what we're building." So this is great play. If you want easy access through your stock account, this is your bet. If you want to get a really juiced up version, our private equity company is basically all in on this, plus creating applications for much higher returns than we could see with this ticker. We've got some good players managing this digital asset treasury company, though. We got David Knox, ex PayPal, Hyung Hung. Not familiar with him, but those are the two folks running it. Since they pivoted, the stock's already grown 400%. This is the first US stock for Hype Holdings. We did just see a ETF filing for Hyperliquid recently, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming through. So they've already raised $80 million and pumped it into Hyperliquid. The edge over Ethereum. Hype drives a focused futures platform that's faster, sub-second trades, and cheaper than Ethereum's crowded network. They have 71% of the market with $357 billion in monthly volume. So this is the DeFi perp market. But what we're seeing is Coinbase and Binance, the two kings of this space, are rapidly losing market share due to a lot of reasons. And now, again, they have huge overhead and are slow. Meanwhile, this small team essentially works for free. They're already very wealthy, and they're just outdoing everything that Coinbase and Binance do faster, cheaper, better, with better ethics, and have a cult-like following. So it's like your Apple iPhone sort of loyal user is driven to Hyperliquid. Okay, very good. So I will go back to the breakdown. But yeah, these three are a remarkable buy right now. And um, we're basically gonna watch those navs hit 2.8 and then start to get out, depending on how crazy the potential euphoria is. We may slowly sell out of it. And here is your breakdown again. So you log into the membership area, punch in how much you have to invest, and then this will print out how many shares to buy. And again, we still have some cash on this side, which we could potentially put to work in the coming weeks. GP. Yeah, I wouldn't use the leverage products GP. I would just use MicroStrategy. These are, I mean, you can if you want super high risk. Yeah, there's no problem with those, but really unnecessary. So again, here's our track record. We've made most of our money with primarily picks like this. So as you know, took a big profit in September on Tesla and the BitMine company, and now we're looking at the market, and this is really the value play. So my expectation is to see gold, silver, probably top out or sell off a little bit, and all that flow into a similar asset that's been again lagging the pattern of gold So I think these are getting ready to really rip higher for the next, especially the next quarter, but really these will be good plays for the next several years. And again, once that NAV gets 2.8, that's our signal to start taking profits. Currently, it's just way low. So I'll be updating this with a weekly webinar so you know what's going on. We'll keep track of the MNAV for you every Thursday. And if we see any other opportunities, we'll put them to work for you with that extra cash. Okay, I'll throw up Dean's slide and we'll take any questions. But yeah, nice and simple. The money supply is skyrocketing. Bitcoin's lagging. Bitcoin's been trailing gold. Gold's at an all-time high. RSI on silver is at an astronomical level. So it's quite likely we're going to see a little rotation there. If you're playing AI stocks, you made a ton of money, and you know how much more upside before some profit taking happens there as well. So that's why we just went all in on these fundamentally undervalued digital asset treasury companies ahead of the hottest seasonality of the year. Big crowd. We have 50 people, 51. So again, we will get back to weekly webinars. So mark it on your calendar. Next Thursday at 1:30, we'll do a follow-up and probably do an even deeper dive into these assets and potentially get you some even riskier trades with the extra cash.
Yeah, 1:30 Mountain, 3:30 Eastern. Uh, on Thursdays, guys. Hey, Jason,
Any?
can you hear me? Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay. Oh, nice. I thought we lost your audio for a second.
I was just reading through the comments. So yeah, looks like everybody's got the plan. So yeah, I wouldn't wait. Yes, we'll send email and text message every week. But yeah, we can just plan on this being a weekly webinar here. And for those of you who don't know, I just had a son, so adjusting to that and getting the sleeping back on track. Also, we're just waiting for a good opportunity and to get through. Usually September's ugly, so I was purposefully waiting to pull the trigger on these plays. Now, September turned out to be very bullish because of the rate cuts. But yeah, this is a great entry and pretty simple signal to sell. MNAV goes above 2.8, and everybody and their mom who follows this knows it's time to start taking profits. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Yeah, he is a fat little happy baby. Taiji says, therefore, we are buying BMNR, MicroStrategy, and hyped right now. Yes. And again, if you want to learn about a even better investment than HYPD with private equity, call Dean. That's what we do full time now. We are absolute experts at the Hyperliquid ecosystem, not just buying it, but we're building software to live on it. So some of the products that had massive returns early on in the Ethereum ecosystem were done by being the first to market with products like Aave, Uniswap, and the list goes on. There's hundreds of DeFi apps on Ethereum now. Petro says hype did night. Yeah, but we're looking at a 200 to 300% potential return over the next 3 to 12 months on hype, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yep. As Jason was saying, guys, you don't want to wait. You want to buy now. Everyone keeps asking, do we want to buy into higher prices? Yes,
Yeah,
you want to go before they go extremely higher.
and net, now's the time to do it.
Yep, exactly. Very nice, guys. All right. Yeah, so yeah, guys, JC did a great job, first off and foremost, on that presentation. Really, really good argument there of why you should buy this, why it's the best timing possible. And yeah, assets are up, but guess what? everything's up this year. And you have rate cuts coming probably through 2027 here, guys. So I don't know if you've slept through, the returns of the 2020 to 2021 market, or perhaps you slept through the 2023 to 2025 market. But you don't want to miss when the Federal Reserve is cutting rates aggressively. That's when you can get severely, severely wealthy. Um, I've had a really good time enjoying that. Really wish I would have known all that stuff in my 20s. But guys, it's the Federal Reserve and the interest rates and the empty money supply that controls everything. Uh, and the biggest beneficiary of those scenarios is digital assets. So you don't want to wait. All right. Yeah, guys. And if anyone has questions on, anything here, please feel free to call me. If you're interested in the private equity side to get an amplified exposure into the Hyperliquid ecosystem, which is basically the fastest growing exchange in the world. Just to give you guys some numbers too. So NVIDIA per employee is about $3.6 million in revenue or in revenue. Hyperliquid is literally doing $102 million in revenue per employee. Um, and 99.99% of the world does not own it. So,
Yeah,
really
it's
cool
actually
gem that,
not even legal in the US right now. So the biggest market in the world can't buy Hyperliquid unless you use a VPN or run an
yep,
offshore company.
yep, exactly, Jason. But again, guys, the
You know what? I'll even
workaround,
give you guys a little tease about what we're doing that's so huge and what you don't get with uh, the stock the Hyperliquid digital asset treasury company. So it's just crazy that this doesn't exist yet. But one of the most profitable businesses for Wall Street is the ETF business and also the leveraged ETF business. And for whatever reason, the crypto world has not figured it out yet and been able to replicate that business onto DeFi. And until Hyperliquid came, to do it would have been extremely difficult, especially to have leverage. But thanks to Hyperliquid and their very deep order book on over 150 of the top cryptocurrencies, and they're also adding them the second these things become hot, they're first. They beat Coinbase, they beat Binance. Well, now we can create ETFs in crypto that behave exactly like the Wall Street business. So what we're doing is we're planning to build that, launch it. We're actually weeks from hitting mainnet, and then our goal is to flip that part of the business to the ETF folks on Wall Street. And this is at the perfect time because they are heavily, heavily investing and trying to get their piece of pie in the DeFi ecosystem right now. So that just gives you a little teaser for what we're doing behind the scenes as an alternative for the Hyperliquid DAT, Digital Asset Treasury Company. Taji says we bought, yeah, so uh, BMNR was a pick we just took a big profit on. Um, Before that, I think we had a 10x return on Coinbase. So, I don't typically pick individual companies. If you've been following us for the last several years, we did Moderna, we've done Coinbase. Unless I really, really understand what we're looking at, I prefer to get broad ETFs. But now we're at a moment in time where this is my life. I'm in this space 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, building infrastructure into it. And to see these trading at par or close to par, it's just a real no-brainer to go big on these right now. Now, I did go through, again, 20 different options, and uh, not all of them do very well. So there was a Solana one that I turned down, even though they raised a lot of money. Their chart's just trash. So again, I do have 20 other of these. They're popping up every day. At this point, we picked the top shelf premier digital asset companies in each respective market. Now, I do like SBET. They got some really smart folks over there. Um, that are just wizards with the Ethereum ecosystem and DeFi. So that could be a potential play for our cash on the side. And there's a lot of others, but I'm going to be very picky and really just give you the best, safest ones because these already trade like a leveraged product. And as you know, cryptocurrencies can be highly volatile. So I think, again, we're all going to be very, very happy campers and we can be um, essentially just following that MNAV for a sell signal. And then once it gets back close to par, that's a good time to buy because that's when your downside to upside risk gets in balance, where you have less downside risk than you have. We're looking at 1-to-1 downside risk against Ethereum with BMNR right now. But on the upside, we're looking at potentially 2 to 3 times upside return. So when that risk to reward ratio gets in the 2-to-1 to 3-to-1 range, you want to buy the dip.
Yep. Excellent job, Jason. And just if anyone's catching this on YouTube, I think we have, I don't know, 6 to 8,000 followers on YouTube. And guys, you haven't ever, became a portfolio builder member, you want to start getting a hold of, when we actually send out trade alerts and stuff, guys, you can give me a call on that too, 505-322-7515. Look forward to helping you there. All right, Jason, I think you did an excellent job covering everything. Yeah, and I think it looks like we rolled through all the questions pretty well here. So, yeah, guys, have fun with those positions. I think it's going to be an absolutely bang up finish to the year for everyone. Look forward to seeing how much you guys make on all these. And again, if you're on YouTube, you're not a portfolio builder, remember, give me a call. We'll get you the trade alerts. We'll get you access to the website, the position calculator, get you full access into the system. All right.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you back at 3:30 Eastern next Thursday. And can't wait to give you a much more detailed deep dive. We'll see how this government shutdown's going. Government shutdowns are almost always bullish. And again, this is the only cheap asset that has seasonality behind it right now. And then again, you got the whole freaking government going all in on, it's funny, Barron Trump supposedly made 8 figures in cryptocurrencies. Trump has all these side businesses. I think most of his wealth is in it. We've got every big bank trying to launch their own stable coin. We've got stable coins now representing 1.3% of the global money supply. That's probably going to grow to 3 to 5%. Tether, the biggest stable coin company, is doing a fundraising at $500 billion. It's projected to become more profitable than Aramco, the most profitable company in the world. Tether's like the 13th largest holder of US debt.
Larger than Germany, Jason. I saw they're passing they're passing G20 countries quick.
Yeah, so we went from a world where the government hates crypto to where if you can't beat them, join them. So you're still in the early stages. We'll be able to ride this wave for the next decade. And then you're going to see that $1 million prophecy happen with Bitcoin with almost certainty. All right, guys, we'll see you back next week. I'll have a lot of new content. It's completely different than this week's. This week we really just overviewed who they are, what they do, but there's a lot more to learn. And then again, we'll start looking more at the typical macro stuff we look at. I left out a lot of the stuff I watch just to keep it simple. At this point, gold's up to all-time highs. M2 is way ahead of Bitcoin. Bitcoin lags gold. This is a no-brainer. Don't wait, get invested. Next week, we'll try to focus on things about, should we worry about a recession, which would be the biggest fear in a rate cut cycle. How long are we keeping this existing portfolio? So we're going to watch that MNAV hit 2.8. I'd like to see Bitcoin hit 150 to 180, and I'll probably start scaling out, assuming that, my predictions play out. Now, if I'm wrong, again, I waited for this MNAV to get cheap to pull the trigger. So we waited past September when seasonality is awful for cryptocurrencies, and luckily we did get that pullback. As you know, we pretty much hit the top on. I think we did hit the exact top on BMNR, and so we took the profit. We got a pullback. We bought the dip. I would expect we're not selling anything till December to January, most likely.
Yep, and you'll get a trade alert, guys, when we're pulling the ripcord and we're out of there. So, and we watch every one of these assets like a hawk all the time. Jason and I love obsessing over this stuff, guys. We're, between the two of us, we do 36 hours a day. So, all right, guys. I think that covers it, Jason. Excellent webinar, bud. Really, really good job. Yeah. Again, guys, if you have any questions, give me a call. If you want to learn more about the PE side, give me a call as well. Look forward to it, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everybody. See you back next week.